Shalom Aleichem, welcome to class. I'm Rabbi Dr. Oluwafemi. We'll be addressing Biblical Greek and still on the topic, the Greek first declension nouns, and we are currently on the masculine category. Previously we discussed that the nouns that we have at least like 90% or even 80% of what we have in the first declension are majorly feminine words. However, we have a few masculine of which we started previously. Now we have been able to address the first components. I said we have two major components, three rather. We have the major endings and we have the minor endings. Now this minor endings also has two categories, and that's why we have altogether three. Now we have been able to address the first major endings. That's the likes of prophetess, and then matitais or matites has been the noun. We talk about the disciple. A disciple matites. Now it's the disciple, or in the objective format, that's of that particular discourse, it becomes matitas. So we are talking about the disciple. Now when we address prophetess, which means a prophet, then we have been able to address the declining. That's we're going to read the passing of that particular word. Now today we are still on the particular category, that's the masculine category of what we have in the feminine, the first declension Greek nouns. So we are now moving to the major component, the minor component. We address the major component, that's major endings. And let's see those with minor endings. And then these are seen as the minor endings of the masculine category of the first declension nouns. These major endings tell us about the proper nouns or proper names that we are in the masculine category. So proper names. So it's talking about in the last teaching I talked about the major endings. But the major ending have to do with the non-proper nouns or non-proper names. So but this talk about the proper names. Now proper names, the like of fast, we have Zanas and hair, and we have. So these are proper names in Biblical Greek. So and these particular endings are given to this category of nouns in the first declension Biblical Greek nouns. So this on the first declension are proper nouns. So and their ending is divided into two categories. They have two categories of our endings. This is one, and the other will be discussed subsequently. So it is right to say that the second component of the masculine category of the noun that we have in the first declension in Biblical Greek, they are minor endings. So and the minor endings are majorly for proper names. So those with minor endings are for the proper nouns or proper names that we have in the nouns. Now we have the passing of this now. I'm going to show how to attach the endings because we have each for the nominative case, genitive, dative, accusative, and vocative case as well. So I will draw the chart now to showcase it. Now, this Kephas, Kephas, it means Cephas in English. Satanas is for Satan. Then we have Elias, that's Elijah in English. All right, so let's see the passing of this Kephas and this Satan. See that? Yeah. So let's have the chart. So in the chart, we conjugate, we'll pass this now, we'll pass this probably, then we move to the second category. Right, so let's have the chart. This nominative case. We have genitive. We have dative. We have accusative. Then we have vocative. All right, so now it is interesting to say that those in this particular category, so with those with the minor endings, they are not pluralized. They don't have plural endings. Yeah, they don't have plural endings. So they only take this the particular category, the ending of the particular category they form. So they don't have plural. Initially we discussed the plural side and other side of the major, those major endings. But those with endings, the minor endings, they don't have plural form. So that's one thing to note about them. So for this first category, this category, that we have category A, then we have category B. So I talked about two major categories under the minor endings. So this category, they are not singular or plural. So that's just the form, that's the ending they take. So this one is different from singular part or plural part, just by the category of the nouns. All right, so for nominative, under this category, we have as. So the ending, nominative ending, that category is as. Then for the category B, their nominative is as well. Then where who, we have who. Yeah. Then for the other part, ah. Now for genitive and for dative part, in this category we have a with iota subscript. For the other part, also have a with iota subscript. Now for accusative case, for the first category we have an, and the other part also an. Now for vocative case, we have ah. For this particular part, we have ah. So these are the categories. This category A, this category B. So I've said this is not singular part and it's not plural part. Those are the category of the nouns that we have under the this particular structure. So We have nominative ending as as. The other as also as. The nominative ending is u. We have another one as a. The dative ending a with iota subscript. There's also a with iota subscript. Then the accusative ending is an, and this also an. And finally, the vocative case, we have a, and we have also as a. So now let's move to a few examples now. Let's use a fast for the example. Alright, so let's have those on the first category. So let's use Messiahs. So I'll put it up here. Then we add the endings there. So we have Messiah, then Messiah, we have Messiah, yeah, Alright, so now this is just the stem. Let's attach the ending. Now the ending for nominative, the first category is as Messias. Then for genitive, we have who. For dative, we have with iota subscript. Then for accusative, we have how. And lastly, for vocative, we have a. Yeah. So we have Messias, Messiah, we have Messiah, Messiahan, Messiah. So this means Messiah. This means of Messiah. This means to or for Messiah. Accusative all about Messiah as the object of the discourse. Then vocative as address, Messiah. So this is an example of the proper name under the first category. Let's move to the second category. Alright, so we have category B. We are using Satanas as a case study. So we have Satanas. So just put up the stem first. Alright, so we have Satanas. So I decided to attach the ending here. That's us. Now for the genitive, because this is the stem. Yeah. So I'm not attached any ending. So for ending for genitive, under the category B is that's Satana. Instead of Satanu, it's Satana. Then we have the dative part, which has a plus an iota subscript. That's sata na. Then we have the vocative, the accusative case. Talk about the direct object. So the ending there is zata, zata, nan. Then for both vocative parts, there are zata, na. Yeah. So what is just the actual difference is that on the category A, for vocative ending, genitive ending, we have u, but for the category B, the vocative genitive ending is a, not u. So that's just the difference there. And as I've said, those under the minor endings are proper nouns or proper names. So these are nouns with, that are proper, not non-proper, and these proper nouns are those that can either be in the first category or second category, and they don't have plural. There's no plural form. So that's one thing to note about this particular category. So with this, we are able to come to the end of the masculine category of nouns that we have in the first declension in biblical book. So next teaching we will address the nouns that we have and the feminine nouns. These are just the masculine category. We address the feminine categories of nouns that we have in the first declension. Thank you for